All right, folks, gather around because this one's a true crime masterpiece, and I'm not talking about some Hollywood script. This is the story of Crystal Inez Nguyen, a woman who had the world handed to her on a silver platter, but decided to swap it for a mechanic with a checkered past and a great collection of tattoos. We've got a Latina wife, her mechanic lover, and an Asian doctor husband who learned the hard way that sometimes no amount of smarts can protect you from the complete dumpster fire that is human nature. If you ever thought your relationship drama was bad, buckle up, it gets wild. Now, let's set the scene for this Shakespearean tragedy. Crystal Inez Nguyen, a woman living the dream, married to a successful doctor, Hien Phu Nguyen. Her life's good, she's got the house, the vacations, the social media glamour. But then, she thought the grass was greener on the other side of the fence. Enter Daniel Gamez, the mechanic with a face full of tattoos and a lifetime of questionable decisions etched into his skin. You're probably thinking, why would a woman with all that stability risk it all for that? Well, folks, it's because she was living in a fantasy world. She bought into the bad boy myth. A mechanic who's probably fixing his life with duct tape and bad choices was more appealing to her than an actual doctor. Let's just say Crystal was playing the long con, except she didn't have a clue what she was doing. Here's where things take a sharp turn from bad choices to full-on crime scene. Hien Phu Nguyen, our doctor husband, recently sold a house for $85,000. Now, like any reasonable person, he thought, I'll keep some of that cash on me, but I'll be smart and deposit some of it too. So he takes $9,800 to the bank, and the rest? Well, that goes into a safe he keeps hidden under the seat of his truck. Insert Crystal's genius plan. She calls her husband on January 15th, telling him to pick up some food from a restaurant. Meanwhile, Daniel, her mechanic lover, is gearing up for the real action. Crystal's husband is blissfully unaware that he's about to get a rude awakening. The scene goes down like something straight out of a movie. Hien's driving, minding his own business, when bam, he notices a gray Mercedes GLK pulling up next to him. Now, this gray Mercedes wasn't some random car, it was Crystal's car, and it had an alias, Betty Oralia. Why? Who knows? Maybe she thought calling it a different name would help her hide her tracks better. Nice try, girl. Now, this is where the crime escalates. Crystal's husband, Hien, sees the car, doesn't think much of it, and goes on with his life. But he starts to notice something weird. The car starts following him. It's not long before the situation turns from a slight paranoia to full-on danger. At this point, Crystal and Daniel are not just following him, they're about to make a serious move. Hien pulls over and boom, 4 individuals surround him. One pulls a handgun, the other has a rifle, and spoiler alert, they hit him over the head with it. That's right, they didn't just rob him, they knocked him out cold with a rifle, leaving him to bleed while they took everything he had, including the $75,000 that he had carefully stashed away in his truck. Daniel and Crystal, partners in crime, now have what they came for, and you'd think they'd run off to live the high life, right? Wrong. This is where the absurdity kicks in. They think they've gotten away clean, but it's only a matter of time before the truth catches up with them. So how do you get caught when you're trying to execute a heist that was probably planned after too many beers and bad decisions? Easy. You leave a trail. Hien, like any reasonable person, reports the crime to the police, and that's where the investigation starts. Our police quickly discover that the mysterious gray Mercedes wasn't just some random car following him, it was Crystal's vehicle. Surprise, surprise, right? And get this, Crystal told the police that Betty Oralia was just the name she used to refer to her mother. What? Investigators weren't buying it though, and quickly uncovered that the Mercedes had been sold to her from a dealership in San Juan. You couldn't script this stuff, folks. They're literally leaving breadcrumbs all over the place, like they want to get caught. But it gets better. Police review surveillance footage from the victim's office, and guess what they find? The 4 individuals getting into the truck. That's right, this crime was practically televised. They'd done all the hard work of becoming criminals and forgot to cover their tracks. Now let's talk about the aftermath. Crystal and Daniel, they're caught. Crystal's face is completely devoid of any remorse in her mugshot. Honestly, the woman's practically acting like this is just another Tuesday. And Daniel looks like he's trying to remember which tattoo artist he owes money to. But it doesn't end with the robbery. Oh no. Crystal had it all, her doctor husband, vacations, Instagram-worthy moments, and for what? A mechanic and $40,000. It's the kind of decision you look back on when you've lost everything and you think, yeah, I probably should have kept that doctor around. So what's the takeaway here? Number 1, don't think the bad boy fantasy will turn out to be anything other than a nightmare. If your partner can't appreciate what they have, they'll burn it all down for the most short-term satisfaction possible. Or 2, if you're going to rob someone, don't be so stupid about it. Leave a trail of evidence all over the place and expect to get caught. 3, if you do get caught, don't act surprised when the internet turns you into a meme. In the end, Crystal and Daniel thought they were playing a game, but they got played by karma, and now they're facing the consequences. $40K, not worth it. Lesson learned, stay smart, stay red-pilled, and never forget, if they're not into you before the money, they sure as hell won't be after it. Don't make the same mistake Crystal did.